All right, so in our last conversation, we talked about how we can leverage the contact list in conjunction with the project schedule to make sure that we have the right assignees assigned to the different roles that we have involved for any of the tasks or the different phases for the efforts that we have listed on that schedule. Let's take that one step further. And now, beyond just being able to manage that on a day-to-day, task-by-task basis, which we would expect the project manager to pretty much be owning most of those responsibilities for keeping things on task, being able to take something off of the project manager's plate to allow them to be working on other tasks, get their focus to other things that need their attention, it's going to be useful for us to build in some automations that can do some of the follow-up work for task and status updates that takes that off of the project manager's plate and lets the automation do some of that lifting for them. Let's see what that looks like within the system. So I'm going to jump back into what we have for our project schedule. A quick glance at what we have for some of the different assignees that we were working on before. If we come up here to what we have for the Automations tab within the top toolbar, and Manage Workflows is where we're going. The first line item that we've got here is a pre-configured workflow designed specifically for what we have in this underlying sheet. This is going to give us the ability to leverage the automation to follow up to do weekly status updates for any of the task owners. Jumping into the edit view, we can take a quick glance at what this looks like. The trigger point is that this is going to run on a weekly basis on Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. This is going to effectively give us the ability on an every week basis, get an update from whoever's owning whatever it is that we're looking to get the update for. We're only going to be looking for those tasks that are not marked as complete, where the start date is not in the future, and where there are no additional subtasks below that. In this case, we're marking it as children equals 0. So what that means is anytime we have a task that is currently meant to be worked on, but is not yet marked as done, and there's no additional kind of subtasks associated with that, this is the type of row that we're looking for to meet that criteria. And the action that we're going to take is we're going to send an update request. Who are we going to send it to? Whoever's listed in the Assign To cell. In this case, that's going to give us the names of Mickey Mouse. It's going to give us Donald Duck. It's going to give us Goofy. They're going to be the recipients of this automated update request. And then we can customize that if we choose to. In this case, we're calling out specifically just to give the details for what we're trying to capture for the percent complete for a specific task, and then also confirm what we have for the start and the finish dates, which is useful for whoever's providing this information. If they choose to do so, we can also capture a comment if somebody wants to leave details about what exactly that effort looks like or anything else they want to comment on. If we want to test this real quick, we can come to the 3 dots, Run Now, and then we can specify whether or not we want to send this across the entire sheet or just a set of rows that we're using as test examples. In addition, we can check the box here to be able to send this notification just to us if we're just doing testing activities as opposed to sending to the actual recipients. I'm going to go ahead and check that to make it easier for us to confirm that this is working as expected. So we've got the confirmation that this ran successfully. So coming back to what we have for the bell icon, that's the notification center that we have natively within Smartsheet. We can take a look. It's worth noting this also goes to the email of record for whoever that owner is. This is where that notification lives. Let's pop it out. And here's where we can see what exactly that looks like for any of the recipients. It's going to give them details for what the current percent complete is. Let's go ahead and bump that up. The details about the task name. If I wanted to add any comment, I could do so here. And then hit Submit. We get the confirmation that yes, that is updated. And in the underlying sheet, for a moment or two, dark blue is the color that we use to represent something that has just recently been refreshed. We can see that that was previously at 15%. Now it's represented as the 25% that we just entered. It's also useful to note that anytime we have any changes to any of the statuses, anytime we have any updates for the values for what we have in the cells, we always have available to us a cell history. This is effectively an audit trail for whatever we had for any changes that have been made along the way. Time-stamped with who made the change. This is really useful, especially if you have anything that needs a little bit of digging whenever you're working through a project. So that's really useful for us to be able to leverage those sorts of workflows. If you're in a position where you think that you're not ready to rely on automated workflows, the good news is these are really easy to turn on and off. If you do want to disable something, that's already currently turned on, simply come to the three dots menu on the far right-hand side, set it to deactivate, and this effectively makes it inactive but still available to you anytime you want to make any changes to that rule or actually turn it back on. So that was a quick look at how we can leverage automated workflows for being able to make sure that we're staying on top of what we have for anything that we're expecting to be updated, especially by others. It reduces the amount of time that we have to spend during status update meetings or any other project team discussions where we would just be doing a check down. This puts the time back into our hands to be able to use that however we think that makes the most sense, and then reduces the number of touch points that we as the project managers have to have in maintaining some of these documents. It's the democratization of what we have for some of these project tools that's going to make it a lot powerful for everybody who's involved.